Imagine holding a coin in your hand that could be worth hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars, yet most people pass it by every day without a second thought. That's exactly what makes the 1973 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny one of the quiet treasures of American coin collecting. At first glance, it looks just like any other penny, but look closer, and you'll see a fascinating story of history, craftsmanship, and hidden value waiting to be discovered. The 1973 D Lincoln penny is, in its essence, a small copper coin featuring the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Minted in Denver, indicated by the tiny D mark, this penny is part of a long-running series that has captured the interest of collectors for over a century. While pennies are a staple of everyday life, the 1973 D Lincoln penny holds unique traits that make it a coin worth more than just its face value. To understand this coin, we need to travel back to 1973. The United States was in a time of transition, with a changing economy and shifts in coin production. The Lincoln cent, originally introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, had been in continuous production for over 6 decades. By 1973, the design was familiar to everyone, but each year's minting carried small variations and production quirks that would one day intrigue collectors. The Denver Mint, responsible for this coin, produced millions of pennies each year. Yet subtle differences in strike, metal composition, and minting errors make some pennies far more desirable than others. The 1973 D penny is primarily composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition that was standard for Lincoln cents until the mid-1980s. The obverse, or front, displays the strong and dignified profile of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been in place since 1959. However, the penny's seemingly ordinary appearance hides small details that can set it apart in the eyes of collectors. Some 1973 D pennies are sought after because of minor die errors, such as doubling on the lettering or a slight misalignment of the mint mark. These subtle differences can transform a common penny into a collector's gem. So, why is the 1973 D Lincoln penny considered rare or valuable? While millions were minted, the coin's value today comes from its condition, minting quirks, and the occasional error that collectors prize. Coins in uncirculated or near-perfect condition are especially desirable, and certain varieties from this year have sold for impressive sums at auctions. Even small imperfections, such as a misplaced mint mark or slight doubling on the date, can make a penny significantly more valuable than one fresh from pocket change. Collectors have been known to pay hundreds of dollars for the most pristine examples of this coin. In fact, there are documented cases where an exceptionally well-preserved 1973 D penny with notable die errors has sold for over $500. While this may seem like a lot for a 1-cent coin, the rarity and historical significance make it an exciting find for collectors who appreciate the story behind the coin as much as the value itself. Even pennies with less dramatic errors, or simply in brilliant, uncirculated condition, can fetch notable sums among enthusiasts. Identifying a real 1973 D Lincoln penny is not always straightforward, especially when it comes to spotting rare varieties or errors. Genuine coins will have the correct mint mark placement, weight, and composition. One easy first check is the mint mark itself. On a Denver penny, the small D should sit just below the date, perfectly aligned. Coins that appear overly shiny or have unusual color may still be genuine, but careful inspection is always needed. For more advanced collectors, comparing the coin to high-quality reference images, checking for die marks, and even consulting grading services can confirm authenticity. Avoid buying coins from unknown sources without verification, as reproductions and altered pennies do exist. Beyond its potential value, the 1973 D penny has some fascinating quirks that make it stand out. For instance, this year marked a period when the Denver Mint was experimenting with new techniques to improve coin striking quality, which means that some coins exhibit tiny variations in the depth and clarity of Lincoln's portrait. Also, while the coin's composition was standard, its age means that finding one in perfect condition is increasingly rare, as most pennies have been in circulation for decades. This combination of history, subtle variation, and rarity gives the coin a unique charm that draws collectors of all levels. Collectors love the 1973 D Lincoln penny not just for its monetary value, but for the story it tells. Holding one of these coins is like holding a small piece of American history. It reflects the craftsmanship of the Denver Mint, the cultural importance of Abraham Lincoln, and the fascinating world of coin collecting where even the smallest details matter. The thrill comes not just from owning a potentially valuable coin, but from the hunt itself. The search through jars of pennies, the anticipation of spotting that rare example, and the satisfaction of identifying a coin that few others notice. Even more surprising is how a coin as humble as a penny can spark curiosity and excitement. Many collectors find that the 1973 D. Lincoln penny is an entry point into a lifelong hobby, leading them to explore other rare pennies, mint errors, and historical coins. The appeal is universal. Regardless of experience, anyone can recognize the beauty and significance hidden in a small piece of copper. Each coin has its own story, a small historical footprint captured in metal, a reminder that value isn't always obvious at first glance. In the end, the 1973 D. Lincoln penny reminds us that history often hides in plain sight. It challenges us to look closer, to pay attention to the details, and to appreciate the stories behind everyday objects. Whether you are a seasoned collector or just someone who enjoys the thrill of discovery, this coin represents an invitation, a chance to uncover a piece of history that has quietly endured for decades. The next time you come across a Lincoln penny, take a moment to inspect it. Among the countless ordinary coins, you might just stumble upon something extraordinary. Could the coin in your pocket be the rare 1973 D. Lincoln penny that collectors dream about? Only careful eyes and a bit of curiosity will tell. Imagine holding a piece of history in the palm of your hand, a tiny coin that has survived decades yet carries stories of an America that once was. What if I told you that one Lincoln penny, minted in 1976, could capture the attention of collectors and coin enthusiasts alike, not just for its age, but for the unique details that make it stand out? Today, we're diving deep into the 1976 D. Mint Mark Lincoln penny, exploring its history, its features, and why it's more than just spare change. The 1976 D. Lincoln penny is a small, seemingly ordinary coin at first glance, yet it belongs to a fascinating chapter of U.S. coinage. This penny, like all Lincoln cents, features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on its obverse, a tribute that has graced American pennies since 1909. But what sets the 1976 D apart is not just the face on the front, but the story behind its production, the subtle differences in its design, and the rare quirks that collectors prize. Let's start with a brief history. The year 1976 was a notable one in American history. The nation celebrated its bicentennial, marking 200 years since the Declaration of Independence. Across the country, commemorative coins were being issued, including special quarters and dollars. While the Lincoln cent wasn't officially a bicentennial coin, it was still produced alongside these celebratory coins, and the mints were operating at full capacity. The D mint mark indicates that this particular penny was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the key production facilities in the United States. During this period, pennies were made primarily of a copper-plated zinc composition. Since 1962, Lincoln cents had been composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a combination that gave the coin durability and a distinctive reddish-brown color. This composition would remain in place until the major change in 1982, when the U.S. Mint transitioned largely to zinc cores with a thin copper coating. The 1976 D. Lincoln penny thus represents one of the later examples of the classic copper composition, a detail that collectors value. When it comes to design, the penny is straightforward, yet subtly intricate. The obverse shows Lincoln's profile facing right, surrounded by the words "In God We Trust" along the top edge, "Liberty" to the left, and the year of minting, 1976, on the right. Below the year, the small D mint mark signals its Denver origin. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial design dominates, a feature introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The tiny details in the memorial, from the columns to the statue within, can be surprisingly challenging to spot with the naked eye, and variations in their clarity are something collectors pay attention to. But beyond its design, what makes the 1976 D. Lincoln penny particularly interesting are the subtle anomalies and errors that occasionally appear. Some coins from this year exhibit what collectors call die cracks, small imperfections from the minting process where the metal splits slightly during striking. Others may have doubled dies, where parts of the design appear slightly duplicated or shadowed, a phenomenon that occurs when the die itself has an error. While not every 1976D penny carries these anomalies, the ones that do are often highly sought after, sometimes fetching hundreds of dollars depending on the severity and visibility of the error. You might be wondering, with millions of pennies minted in Denver that year, what makes any single 1976D penny rare or valuable? The answer lies in condition, scarcity, and the presence of errors. Coins that have survived decades in near mint or uncirculated condition are uncommon because pennies are meant to circulate, to change hands thousands of times, and to endure wear. A 1976D Lincoln penny with crisp details, full luster, and no scratches can command a premium among collectors. Even more so if it shows an unusual error, like a doubled die or a misstrike. Real examples of this coin reaching significant collector value appear occasionally in auctions. For instance, a near-perfect 1976D Lincoln penny with no wear and excellent eye appeal might sell for a modest sum above face value, sometimes $5 to $20. But coins with distinct errors can reach much higher prices. One documented case involved a 1976D penny with a faint doubled die on the obverse, which sold to a collector for over $150. While these numbers might not seem astronomical compared to rarer coins, they illustrate the potential value hidden in what seems like everyday change. So how can you identify a genuine 1976D Lincoln penny and avoid mistakes? First, check for the Denver D mint mark below the year. Its shape and placement are consistent in authentic coins. Look at the details of Lincoln's profile and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Any doubling, raised lines, or unexpected markings may indicate a doubled die or minting anomaly. Be cautious of counterfeit or altered coins, which can sometimes appear in online marketplaces. Using a magnifying glass or a coin grading reference can help distinguish real, collectible coins from ordinary pennies. There are also some fun and surprising details about this penny that make it particularly appealing. For example, 1976D pennies were produced during a time when the U.S. economy was experiencing inflation and metal prices were fluctuating, which meant careful attention at the mints to the amount of copper used in each coin. Some pennies from this era show subtle differences in color and weight depending on the batch, giving numismatists an extra layer of fascination. Also, although not officially a bicentennial coin, the 1976D penny circulated alongside other coins celebrating 200 years of American independence, making it part of a unique historical context. Collectors love the 1976D Lincoln penny not just for its metal or errors, but because it embodies a slice of American history. Owning one is a tangible connection to a time before digital payments, before smartphones, when coins were part of everyday life. The penny's durability, familiar design, and occasional quirks make it a satisfying coin to hold, examine, and add to a collection. Many collectors enjoy hunting through rolls of old pennies to see if they can spot a gem like this one, a hunt that blends patience with the thrill of discovery. In the end, the 1976D Lincoln penny is more than a small piece of copper and zinc. It's a story frozen in metal, a reminder of the year America celebrated 2 centuries of independence, and a treasure hunt for those willing to look closely at the coins in their pocket change. So next time you pick up a penny, don't dismiss it as mere currency. Somewhere among them, there might be a 1976D Lincoln penny with a secret story to tell, waiting for a careful eye to uncover its value. If you enjoy discovering the hidden tales behind everyday objects, consider taking a moment to examine your coins. You never know when a small, unassuming penny could hold a surprising piece of history, ready to spark curiosity, conversation, and even a bit of treasure hunting excitement. The 1976D Lincoln penny reminds us that sometimes the most fascinating stories come in the smallest packages. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of Americans passed by every day, yet only a few truly understand its hidden story. One small, copper-plated disc, minted over 40 years ago, could quietly hold a secret that makes collectors' hearts race and auction rooms erupt with excitement. This is the story of the 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin that, at first glance, looks ordinary, but hides a fascinating past and rare appeal that surprises even seasoned collectors. The 1978 Lincoln penny is part of a long tradition of American coinage. Abraham Lincoln's image has appeared on the 1-cent coin since 1909, making it one of the most recognizable pieces of currency in the United States. For decades, this coin has symbolized more than money. It represents history, heritage, and a glimpse into the nation's past. Yet, among the millions produced each year, some pennies stand out, not for being flashy or rare in circulation, but for subtle details that make them highly sought after. The 1978 no-mint mark penny is one such example. In 1978, the United States was producing pennies primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Typically, coins from Philadelphia carried no mint mark, while coins from Denver bore a D. The no mint mark penny of 1978 might seem ordinary, but its production reflects a snapshot of American minting practices during a period of high demand for coins. That year, economic growth and daily commerce meant the U.S. Mint struck hundreds of millions of pennies, most of which would pass through countless hands without ever being noticed or treasured. Yet hidden among these vast numbers, a small number of coins display unusual characteristics that make them extraordinary. The 1978 Lincoln penny is made primarily of copper, with a thin layer of zinc applied. This composition gives it its classic reddish-brown color, which can develop a warm, darker patina over time. Its design remains consistent with Lincoln pennies of the era. Abraham Lincoln's bust on the obverse, the words "In God We Trust" above his head, Liberty to the left, and the date, 1978, to the right. The reverse side features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been in use since 1959, marking the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. While the design may appear familiar to anyone who has handled pennies for decades, it is the subtle variations in some 1978 coins that make them fascinating to collectors. Some coins from 1978 show striking errors, minor misalignments, doubled dies, or off-center strikes that collectors prize. But even without these errors, the 1978 no-mint mark penny has rarity factors that make it valuable. Because Philadelphia coins did not carry a mint mark, many people overlook the subtle differences in planchet thickness, striking pressure, and luster that distinguish one coin from another. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, or those with exceptional eye appeal, can be worth significantly more than their face value. Unlike a common penny you might find under a couch cushion, these coins tell a story of careful minting, time, and survival through decades of everyday handling. Collectors often reference real-world auction data to determine the value of these coins. A standard circulated 1978 penny might be worth only a few cents, but an uncirculated or near-perfect specimen can command hundreds of dollars at auction. For example, a 1978 no-mint mark penny graded in high mint state condition recently sold for over $200. Demonstrating how condition and rarity combine to create real value. Coins with unusual features, such as faint doubling on the date or a slight planchet imperfection, have been known to reach prices even higher, sometimes surpassing $500 or more, depending on collector interest. These figures may seem surprising for a coin that once spent decades in pocket change. Yet the market for rare pennies is active, passionate, and ready to reward those who recognize these hidden gems. Identifying a genuine 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is crucial for collectors, especially in a market where reproductions and counterfeits exist. The first step is examining the coin's surface and details under good lighting. Authentic coins have a consistent metallic sheen, clear lettering, and a well-defined relief. The date should be crisp, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse should show fine detail in the columns and inscriptions. Weight is another indicator. A real 1978 penny weighs about 3.11 grams. Any noticeable difference could signal a reproduction or altered coin. Experienced collectors also check for subtle die markers, tiny imperfections from the minting process that cannot easily be replicated. By carefully studying these aspects, collectors can confidently distinguish a true no-mint mark penny from a fake, ensuring that their investment is genuine. The 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny also carries fun and surprising historical details that make it more than just a piece of metal. For instance, during the late 1970s, copper prices were fluctuating, which influenced the cost of producing pennies. The U.S. Mint was constantly experimenting with materials and striking techniques to maintain quality while managing expenses. While the penny never fully changed composition in 1978, this context adds a layer of intrigue for enthusiasts. Additionally, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse holds its own subtle story. Small design tweaks were made over the years to improve striking clarity, and in some coins, these tiny differences serve as identifiers for specialists and collectors alike. Collectors love the 1978 no-mint mark penny not just for its rarity, but for the connection it offers to history. It is a tangible piece of the past, a coin that circulated through decades of everyday life, yet survives as a symbol of patience, luck, and discovery. There's also the thrill of the hunt. Finding a near-perfect specimen tucked away in a jar of loose change can be a life-changing moment for a collector. It's this combination of history, scarcity, and the potential for discovery that makes the coin a constant favorite among numismatists. Even today, the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny inspires curiosity and excitement. Its story reminds us that value is not always obvious at first glance, and that even the smallest objects can hold surprising significance. Every scratch, every luster change, every subtle feature tells a story of its journey through time. For collectors, this penny represents more than money. It embodies history, craftsmanship, and the timeless appeal of discovery. So next time you reach for a penny, consider the possibility that it might be more than pocket change. Somewhere among the coins that pass through drawers, jars, and cash registers, there may be a 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny waiting to reveal its story. Could the next coin you hold be a hidden treasure? Only careful eyes and a bit of curiosity will tell. The hunt for rare coins continues, and each small disc carries the potential to unlock a piece of America's past, one penny at a time. Imagine holding a coin in your hand, so ordinary at first glance, yet it carries a story that could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. One small piece of copper, stamped with a familiar face, can suddenly become a treasure hidden in plain sight. Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing coins in American history, the 1979 Lincoln penny. If you think pennies are just small, everyday coins, you're about to see why this one stands apart and captures the fascination of collectors across the country. The 1979 Lincoln penny is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, a coin that has been circulating in the United States since 1909. It features Abraham Lincoln on the front, a symbol of honesty and perseverance, and the familiar Lincoln Memorial on the back, which had been the standard design since 1959. What makes the 1979 unique is that it was minted in Denver, indicated by the D mint mark, and is associated with specific characteristics that make collectors watch for it closely. To understand why this coin matters, we have to look at the context of 1979. The United States was experiencing a period of economic change. Inflation was high, and metal prices were fluctuating. The penny itself had been composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc for decades, a combination that made it durable but also increasingly expensive to produce. In 1979, billions of pennies were minted across the country, and the Denver Mint produced a significant portion of them. Despite the mass production, certain coins from this year, particularly those with unusual features or errors, have become surprisingly valuable today. The 1979 Lincoln penny may look like a standard coin to the casual observer, but collectors are drawn to its unique traits. The obverse, or front, showcases a profile of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the word Liberty to the left in the year 1979, followed by the D mint mark on the right. The reverse displays the Lincoln Memorial with fine detail, including the tiny statue of Lincoln visible through the columns. While most pennies from 1979 are common, specific varieties, such as double dies, repunched mint marks, or coins with unusual striking errors, are far less frequent. These subtle differences can transform an everyday coin into a collector's prize. One of the most compelling reasons this penny has captured attention is its potential for errors. For example, some 1979 pennies show doubling on the date or lettering, where the design appears slightly shifted or repeated. Others have small die cracks or off-center strikes, which are minor imperfections during the minting process. While these might seem like defects, in the world of coin collecting, they can dramatically increase a coin's value. Coins with these anomalies are often sought after because they are essentially one-of-a-kind glimpses into the minting process, preserved over decades. Despite being a mass-produced coin, The 1979 Lincoln penny has proven its worth at auctions and among private collectors. A standard 1979 penny in circulated condition might be worth only a few cents above face value, but high-grade examples, especially those with perfect mint luster, can command significantly higher prices. Rare error coins from this year have been known to sell for hundreds of dollars, and in exceptional cases, depending on the type of error and the coin's condition, even more. These examples demonstrate the difference between a coin that sits unnoticed in a pocket and one that becomes a centerpiece in a collector's cabinet. So how can you tell a real 1979 Lincoln penny from a fake or altered version? First, look for the mint mark. The D should be small but clear, located just under the year on the obverse. Examine the coin's weight and feel. It should have the familiar heft of copper. Inspect the design details closely, the columns of the Lincoln Memorial, the lines of Lincoln's face, and the lettering. Counterfeit or altered coins often have blurry or uneven details, unusual coloring, or signs of tampering. If you suspect a coin has value, the safest approach is to have it professionally graded by a reputable organization, which can confirm authenticity and condition. There are also fun and surprising details that make the 1979 Lincoln penny fascinating beyond its monetary value. For instance, it's part of the series that celebrated the 170th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This penny is just 1 year shy of the 1980s, a decade when the U.S. Mint experimented with new techniques and saw increasing interest from collectors. It's also interesting to note that despite the vast number of pennies produced, very few remain in near-perfect condition today, making the search for a pristine specimen a mini treasure hunt for enthusiasts. Collectors love this coin for more than just its rarity or potential monetary value. It's a tangible connection to American history, a piece of art in miniature, and a reminder of the nation's past. Many collectors enjoy hunting for pennies from specific years or mints, examining each coin for subtle differences that tell a story. The 1979 Lincoln penny offers both a challenge and a reward. Most coins are ordinary, but the occasional error or pristine example can bring excitement, pride, and even a financial surprise. For those who appreciate history, small details, and the thrill of discovery, this coin represents a perfect blend of all three. In addition, the 1979 penny is a gateway coin for new collectors. It's affordable to acquire a standard coin, but it also opens the door to learning about mint marks, die varieties, and the history of the Lincoln cent series. This balance of accessibility and potential rarity makes it a favorite among both novice and experienced collectors. Every time someone examines a 1979 penny, they might find a tiny quirk that sparks curiosity, a slight imperfection that becomes a prized feature, or a connection to decades of American life. So the next time you pick up a penny, remember, not all pennies are created equal. Among the ordinary coins jostling for attention in drawers, jars, or coin rolls, the 1979 Lincoln penny stands out for those who know what to look for. It's a coin that bridges the everyday and the extraordinary, a reminder that even the smallest object can hold stories worth discovering. Keep your eyes open, because the next time you stumble across one, it might not just be a penny. It could be a rare piece of history waiting to be appreciated. The 1979 Lincoln penny may seem modest, but its story is rich, its potential value captivating, and its place in American numismatic history secure. It encourages collectors to look closely, think carefully, and treasure the small details. So, as you continue your search through coin jars and rolls, remember that sometimes the most ordinary coin can hide an extraordinary secret. Who knows, that next penny you hold could tell a story that's decades in the making, waiting for someone to uncover its hidden value. Imagine holding a coin that millions of people overlooked, yet quietly sits in history as a hidden treasure. What if I told you that a simple 1984 Lincoln penny, one you might even find in your pocket change, could be worth thousands of dollars to the right collector? Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that has sparked curiosity, excitement, and even a little mystery among coin collectors. The 1984 Lincoln penny might look ordinary at first glance. It's small, copper-colored, and features Abraham Lincoln, just like the pennies you see every day. But this particular variety, the No Mint Mark edition, carries a story that sets it apart from its millions of siblings minted the same year. For anyone holding one, Understanding its history and rarity could reveal something truly remarkable. Let's start at the beginning. The year 1984 was a time of transition in U.S. coinage. Lincoln pennies had been around for more than 70 years, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By the 1980s, these coins were primarily made of a copper alloy, and the design had remained largely unchanged, with Lincoln's profile on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. In 1984, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies, mostly at the Philadelphia and Denver facilities. Typically, coins from Denver carry a small D mint mark, while those from Philadelphia either carry a P or no mark at all. Here's where it gets interesting. The no mint mark, 1984 penny, is technically a Philadelphia issue, but not every 1984 penny without a mint mark is automatically valuable. What makes certain coins in this series so intriguing is their condition, rarity, and any errors that might have occurred during production. Coins with subtle variations or mistakes can suddenly jump from ordinary pocket change to collector gold. The 1984 no-mint mark penny is primarily made of a copper-plated zinc composition, a change that had been implemented just a few years earlier in 1982. Prior to that, pennies were mostly solid copper. This new blend made pennies less expensive to produce, but it also introduced subtle differences that coin enthusiasts pay attention to, such as color, luster, and weight. The design itself was classic. Lincoln's bust on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and the year stamped clearly on the front. But sometimes small minting errors crept in, double strikes, off-center prints, or unusual die cracks that transformed ordinary coins into rare finds. So why does the 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny capture the imagination of collectors? It's rare not because of how many were minted, but because of certain exceptional coins that survived in pristine condition or carry minor errors. Coins that escaped circulation, often called uncirculated or mint-condition coins, are incredibly sought after. Even small scratches or discoloration can dramatically affect value, so a coin that looks perfect today is essentially a tiny time capsule from 1984. In terms of value, examples have appeared in auctions and private sales with surprising results. While most 1984 no-mint mark pennies are worth just a few cents to $1 in circulated condition, uncirculated coins can fetch a higher price. Exceptional specimens, especially those with minor minting errors, have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. One record sale of a flawless 1984 no-mint mark penny in an uncirculated, high-grade condition reached a collector price that stunned many hobbyists. These coins demonstrate that even something as humble as a penny can become a remarkable collectible when condition, rarity, and history align. Identifying a real 1984 no-mint mark penny is fairly straightforward, but it requires careful observation. The coin should be free of a mint mark, which means there is no D or S under the year. The metal should feel consistent with other copper-plated zinc pennies from the era, weighing about 2.5 grams. Collectors often use magnifying tools to examine the edges and surfaces, looking for die lines, doubling, or unusual characteristics that signal a potential error coin. Counterfeits are rare, but they do exist, so comparing suspected coins against verified examples from reputable coin guides or grading services is always wise. Beyond the value and technical details, there are fun and surprising aspects about the 1984 no-mint mark penny. For one, it was produced during a period when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with efficiency and material cost, which means each coin carries a subtle story about America's economy and manufacturing practices in the early 1980s. It's also interesting to note that while pennies are often dismissed as small change today, the very act of collecting them preserves a piece of history. Every scratch, every patina tells a story of time and circulation. Some collectors even enjoy searching through rolls of everyday pennies in hopes of discovering one of these rare specimens, turning an ordinary hobby into an exciting treasure hunt. Collectors love this coin today not just for its potential value, but for the story it tells. It represents a connection to the past, to a moment in history when Lincoln's image reminded Americans of unity and perseverance. There's also an element of suspense and discovery that keeps collectors engaged. Every penny is a puzzle, and the 1984 no-mint mark variety has just enough subtlety and mystery to keep even experienced collectors on their toes. It's a coin that encourages curiosity, careful observation, and a deeper appreciation for the artistry and history embedded in everyday objects. In the end, the 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny reminds us that history can be found in the smallest places. A coin you might overlook in your wallet could hold untold stories and surprising value. Whether you are a casual collector, someone who inherited a handful of old coins, or just curious about the quirks of U.S. currency, this penny offers a glimpse into a world where ordinary objects carry extraordinary stories. The next time you glance at a seemingly simple penny, consider this. Among the millions minted, one might be hiding quietly, waiting to reveal its worth, its history, and its unexpected charm. Who knows, the next coin you pick up might just be the one that sparks a lifelong passion, or even changes the way you see history entirely. The 1984 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just metal stamped with a date. It's a tiny piece of America's story, a collectible treasure, and a reminder that curiosity often leads to discovery. And maybe, just maybe, somewhere in your pocket change, a 1984 penny is waiting quietly, ready to share its secret. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of Americans passed by every day, but only a few have ever recognized its hidden value. A coin so ordinary at first glance, yet for collectors, it could be a small treasure with a story to tell. Today, we're diving into one of the most talked-about pennies from the 1980s, the 1985 D-Mint mark Lincoln penny. By the end of this video, you'll see why a simple penny can become a captivating piece of history, a collector's delight, and even a small fortune in some cases. The 1985 D Lincoln penny is one of those coins that slips under the radar of most everyday Americans. At its core, it's just a 1-cent coin minted in Denver, marked with that familiar D mint stamp. On one side, it bears the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that has graced the penny for over a century, a reminder of the nation's history and values. The reverse side features the Lincoln Memorial, which replaced the original wheat ears design in 1959. It may look like every other penny in your pocket, but collectors know that subtle details can make a coin far more significant than its face value. Let's take a brief step back to understand the history behind this coin. The year 1985 was not a particularly historic year for the U.S. Mint, but it fell during a period of interesting changes in coin production. The economy was growing, and pennies were being produced in massive quantities to meet daily circulation needs. The Lincoln penny, originally introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, had become a staple in American life. Yet collectors were always on the lookout for variations, mint errors, or coins in exceptionally high condition. The 1985 D penny fits into this story as part of a long-running series that captures the evolution of American coinage. One of the first things to notice about the 1985 D Lincoln penny is its metal composition. By this time, pennies were primarily made of a copper-plated zinc alloy. The outer layer of copper gives the coin its classic warm color, while the zinc core made it lighter and less expensive to produce. This was a continuation of the change that began in 1982, when the U.S. Mint switched almost entirely from solid copper to this plated composition. For collectors, this shift is significant because coins made before and after 1982 can differ subtly in weight, color, and even sound when dropped, making it a fascinating detail for numismatists. The design itself is a testament to continuity and respect for history. Lincoln's portrait is crisp, with his thoughtful expression carefully rendered, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse is detailed with the tiny statue of Lincoln visible within its columns. But beyond the design, collectors also look for unique features that might make a coin stand out. With the 1985 D penny, certain minting errors, such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet flaws, can dramatically increase a coin's value. While these errors are rare when they do appear, they transform a common penny into a highly sought-after collectible. Now, you might be wondering, is this penny rare? And can it really be valuable? On the surface, the 1985 D Lincoln penny is not considered extremely rare. Millions were minted, and many remain in circulation today. However, rarity in coin collecting isn't just about numbers, it's also about condition, errors, and provenance. A 1985 D penny in pristine, uncirculated condition can fetch a premium among collectors, especially if it exhibits unusual features or was preserved in a mint state for decades. Coins graded highly by professional organizations can bring surprising prices at auctions. sometimes hundreds of dollars for an individual penny, which may seem astonishing given its 1 cent face value. To illustrate, in recent years, auction listings for 1985 D Lincoln pennies have shown that high-grade examples, those with sharp details, no signs of wear and bright luster, can sell for $50 to $200. Coins with confirmed errors or unusual characteristics can climb even higher. For instance, a rare double-die obverse variant of this penny could reach several $100s in the right market. While these numbers don't make every 1985 D penny a fortune, they demonstrate the hidden potential that coins often carry for those who know how to look. But how do you know if your 1985 D Lincoln penny is genuine and worth more than its face value? First, check the mint mark. The small D beneath the date indicates it was minted in Denver. Ensure it matches known genuine examples in font, size, and placement. Examine the coin closely for wear, scratches, or discoloration. Coins that have been in circulation extensively are less valuable, even if they are decades old. For those seeking to identify errors, a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe is essential. Look for doubled letters, off-center strikes, or any unusual marks that could indicate a minting anomaly. Comparing your coin to verified auction listings and professional grading guides is the safest way to confirm authenticity and potential value. Here's a fun fact that many people overlook. Pennies like the 1985 D carry stories beyond their monetary value. Each one passed through countless hands, from cash registers to pocket change, witnessing moments in everyday American life. They remind us of history in small, tangible ways. The Lincoln penny itself is a tribute to America's 16th president, symbolizing honesty, integrity, and perseverance. Holding a coin from 1985 is like holding a tiny piece of the past, connecting you to a year of cultural, political, and economic events that shaped the modern United States. Collectors also appreciate the 1985 D Lincoln penny for its accessibility. Unlike rarer coins from the 19th or early 20th centuries, this penny is something many people can own without a major financial commitment. It's a gateway into the world of numismatics, offering a chance to learn about grading, minting processes, and the thrill of discovering errors or coins in exceptional condition. For seasoned collectors, it represents a continuation of the Lincoln penny story, a series that stretches over a century and captures subtle changes in metal composition, design, and production methods. Another intriguing detail is the subtle variations between pennies minted in different locations. The D mark identifies Denver, while pennies from Philadelphia lack a mint mark, and San Francisco pennies carry an S. Comparing these coins can reveal slight differences in color, weight, or strike quality, offering a window into the meticulous work of the U.S. Mint. Some collectors even focus on acquiring one example from each mint for every year, making the 1985 D a must-have for completing a collection of that era. So why do collectors still love this coin today? It's more than just a piece of metal. It's a piece of history, a conversation starter, and a puzzle for those who enjoy hunting for mint errors or coins in perfect condition. Even a coin as seemingly ordinary as the 1985 D Lincoln penny can spark excitement when you consider its production history, subtle variations, and the potential for hidden value. For anyone holding a roll of pennies at home, it serves as a reminder that treasures sometimes hide in plain sight, waiting for a sharp eye and a little curiosity to uncover them. As we wrap up, consider this. The next time you find a 1985 D Lincoln penny in your pocket or change jar, you're not just holding a coin. You're holding a story. You're holding a snapshot of American history, a reflection of a year gone by, and perhaps a small gem with potential beyond its face value. While millions of these pennies were minted, the true excitement lies in the details, condition, errors, and the chance to uncover a coin that could become a prized possession for collectors. History, value, and curiosity all meet on this tiny copper disc, so look closely at your pennies. Examine the mint marks, the shine, the details, and the wear. One of these ordinary coins could hold a story that transforms it into something extraordinary. And while the 1985 D Lincoln penny may seem like just another cent, it reminds us that sometimes the smallest objects carry the biggest surprises. Every coin has a story. What story is hiding in your pocket right now? Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks like any other penny in your pocket, but could actually be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Today, we're diving into one of the most intriguing coins for collectors in the United States, the 1987 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. This isn't just another 1-cent piece. It's a story of rarity, careful craftsmanship, and the kind of coin that can turn casual curiosity into serious collector excitement. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this small, copper-colored coin has captured the attention of collectors across the country. The 1987 Lincoln penny is part of a series that's familiar to almost every American. Abraham Lincoln's profile has graced the obverse of the penny since 1909, commemorating the 100th anniversary of his birth. The reverse side, at the time, featured the Lincoln Memorial, a design first introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. For decades, this coin was produced in massive quantities, appearing in change at grocery stores, vending machines, and anywhere pennies circulate. Most 1987 pennies are common, their value hardly exceeding 1 cent. Yet among these billions of coins, there exists a small group that stands apart, those without a mint mark. To understand why the 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny is special, we need to explore its production history. In 1987, pennies were minted primarily at the Denver Mint, which normally added a small D to indicate where the coin was produced. A few were also minted at Philadelphia, which traditionally left coins without a mint mark, a practice dating back to the early 20th century. However, by the 1980s, most coins from Philadelphia still carried a mint mark due to changes in production processes. Occasionally, errors or unusual batches resulted in coins being struck without a mint mark, and these anomalies are precisely what makes certain coins so valuable to collectors. The 1987 Lincoln penny, like other pennies from that era, is composed of a copper-plated zinc core. The coin weighs just over 2.5 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. Its obverse features Lincoln's portrait, detailed with careful engraving, while the reverse proudly displays the Lincoln Memorial. Under normal circumstances, nothing about this coin would set it apart. But for the no mint mark variety, there's a story hidden in the details. Collectors believe that a small number of these pennies escaped the minting process without the Denver mark, creating a scarcity that is both subtle and significant. What makes a 1987 Lincoln penny without a mint mark valuable isn't just its age, it's its rarity. Coins with no mint mark from this year are extremely hard to find, especially in higher grades. While millions of pennies were minted in 1987, only a tiny fraction lacked the mint mark, making them an unusual find in loose change or collections. Rarity is the foundation of value in coin collecting, and the 1987 no mint mark penny exemplifies this principle. It's not a coin you'll see every day, and spotting one can feel like discovering a hidden treasure in plain sight. Collectors and auction houses have taken note. Recent sales for 1987 pennies without mint marks have shown that even coins in circulated condition can fetch notable sums. For example, a well-preserved coin with no mint mark sold at auction for over $300, a staggering increase from its original 1-cent face value. Coins in mint state, those with crisp detail and no signs of wear, have been known to reach prices exceeding $1,000. While these numbers may vary depending on condition and market trends, the underlying principle remains. A small difference, like the absence of a mint mark, can create a remarkable shift in value. Identifying a genuine 1987 no mint mark penny requires a careful eye. First, look closely at the obverse and reverse under a magnifying glass. The coin should match the weight, diameter, and metal composition of a standard 1987 penny. Examine the area where a mint mark would normally appear, just below the date. A genuine no mint mark penny shows no letter at all, without signs of filing or alteration. Beware of counterfeit attempts, where someone might remove or obscure a mint mark. Subtle clues like scratches, inconsistent coloring, or unusual engraving can indicate tampering. Collectors often recommend consulting a reputable coin dealer or grading service for verification, especially when the coin appears to be in high condition. Beyond rarity and monetary value, the 1987 no mint mark penny holds some surprising details. For instance, despite being a modern coin, these pennies are considered error coins in the eyes of many collectors. Error coins have long fascinated numismatists because they reveal the human and mechanical elements behind coin production. Each penny tells a story not only of Lincoln and American history, but also of the minting process itself. Even seasoned collectors enjoy the thrill of hunting through rolls of change to see if luck will reward them with a no-mint mark variety. Collectors love the 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny today for many reasons. It represents a bridge between everyday currency and high-value collectibles, a tangible connection to history hidden in plain sight. Its scarcity makes it exciting to search for, while its historical and visual appeal makes it a pleasure to own. The coin offers a sense of discovery, a reminder that even the most ordinary objects can contain extraordinary surprises. People often pass down collections from generation to generation, and a single no-mint mark penny can become the centerpiece of a larger story or a family treasure. In addition to the thrill of ownership, these coins are part of a broader fascination with Lincoln pennies as a collectible series. From the 1909 VDB penny to modern-era coins, Lincoln pennies capture a slice of American culture, economy, and craftsmanship. The 1987 no-mint mark penny is a modern echo of this legacy. It connects casual collectors to a lineage of coins that have intrigued Americans for more than a century. It's a small object, yet it carries with it stories of production, human error, and the subtle forces of scarcity that drive collectors' passion. So, if you happen to find a 1987 penny without a mint mark, it's worth pausing and taking a closer look. Even if you find just one, it could spark your interest in coin collecting or remind you that history can be hiding in the smallest of places. Who knows? That ordinary coin in your pocket could be hiding a rare story, a surprising value, and a connection to collectors who prize these unusual pieces. Coins like this remind us that discovery isn't always about traveling far or seeking the exotic. Sometimes, it's as simple as holding a penny in your hand and wondering if it's the one that escaped the ordinary. Next time you handle a penny, take a moment to study the details. Examine the date, check for a mint mark, and consider the journey this coin might have taken over the decades. Every coin has a story, but a 1987 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is a story that stands apart, quietly waiting to be discovered. Maybe the next hidden treasure is right in your pocket, waiting to reveal its secret. The world of coin collecting is full of these small mysteries, and each one has the potential to surprise, delight, and even change the way we think about value. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that millions of people have used, yet few really notice. Now, imagine that same coin could be worth far more than its face value, quietly sitting in your pocket or coin jar. Today, we're diving into one of the United States' lesser-known treasures, the 1997 Denver Mint Lincoln penny. It's a coin you've likely seen, yet it may hold secrets that could surprise even the most casual collector. The 1997 Lincoln penny, struck at the Denver Mint, is part of a long line of pennies honoring Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Unlike commemorative coins, this penny was created for everyday circulation, meant to travel in pockets, wallets, and cash registers across America. But despite being common at first glance, certain characteristics can make a simple 1997 penny exceptionally interesting to collectors. The story of this coin begins in 1997, a time when the U.S. Mint was continuing its long tradition of producing the Lincoln cent, a design first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The obverse, or front, features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's profile had become iconic, symbolizing honesty and integrity, values the nation wanted to celebrate over a century after his leadership during the Civil War. On the reverse, the coin carries the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, replacing the original wheat ears. The 1997 Lincoln penny is made primarily of copper-plated zinc, a combination that had been in use since 1982, when rising copper prices made the older solid copper composition impractical. Each coin contains 97.5% zinc with a thin copper layer on the surface. While this composition seems ordinary, it actually creates one of the factors that collectors watch for closely: errors during the minting process. In some cases, the copper layer can fail, or the zinc core can show through in unusual patterns, creating what is known as a zinc strike-through error. While most 1997 Denver pennies were struck perfectly, a small number feature subtle variations that make them intriguing to collectors. Some coins might show doubled dies, where the lettering or numbers appear slightly doubled. a minting anomaly caused by a misaligned die. Others may have off-center strikes, giving the coin an unusual look. These imperfections are not mistakes in the sense of being defective. They are rare occurrences that make the coins more desirable because no two errors are exactly the same. But what truly makes the 1997 Denver Lincoln penny appealing to collectors is its relative scarcity in certain conditions. Millions of these coins were produced, but the majority have been handled, circulated, and worn over time. Coins that remain in pristine, uncirculated condition from 1997 are increasingly hard to find. Even among uncirculated coins, those graded by professional services like the Professional Coin Grading Service, or PCGS, with perfect or near-perfect ratings, can command higher values than ordinary pennies from the same year. Auction records and collector sales show just how valuable a 1997 D penny can be when it's in excellent condition. While a typical circulated penny may only be worth a few cents, uncirculated or error coins can fetch significantly more. For example, a 1997 D penny graded M-66 by PCGS, meaning it has virtually no wear and retains a sharp strike, could sell for over $20. If the coin features a rare minting error, such as a double die or die crack, that value could jump to hundreds of dollars, depending on the severity and uniqueness of the error. In rare cases, highly unusual specimens have been auctioned for even higher amounts, especially when collectors compete for a coin that completes a set or fills a specific gap in their collection. Identifying a genuine 1997 D penny is straightforward but requires careful attention. Start with the mint mark. A small D just below the year indicates it was minted in Denver. Check the overall appearance. The copper layer should be intact, with the familiar reddish-brown tone, and the design details should be sharp, especially around Lincoln's cheek and jawline, and the columns of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Be cautious of counterfeit coins or altered mint marks, which can sometimes appear in online auctions or private sales. Professional grading or verification from a trusted dealer is always recommended if the coin is being considered for serious investment or sale. One of the surprising details about the 1997 D Lincoln penny is how subtle differences can dramatically affect value. For instance, a coin that looks nearly identical to millions of others might carry an error that is invisible to the untrained eye. Tiny doubling on the lettering, a small off-center strike, or an unusual coloration caused by metal impurities can transform an ordinary penny into a collector's prize. It's a reminder that in coin collecting, the smallest details often carry the greatest significance. Collectors also love the 1997 D Lincoln penny because it represents a tangible piece of modern history. While it doesn't have the centuries-old provenance of coins from the 1800s, it's part of a continuous story of American currency. Owning one is like holding a fragment of everyday life from the late 20th century, a time before digital payments dominated, when pennies still jingled in pockets and cash registers. It's accessible, relatable, and yet, in the right condition, surprisingly rare. Another interesting aspect is the role these pennies play in the broader hobby of coin collecting. Many collectors focus on Lincoln cents because they are affordable entry points, yet they still offer opportunities for discovery. Finding a high-grade or error 1997 D penny in a roll of coins can spark the thrill of the hunt and the satisfaction of spotting something others might overlook. It's a coin that connects casual collectors, serious enthusiasts, and even investors who recognize the value of scarcity and historical context. In addition, the 1997 D penny carries subtle historical markers. By examining wear patterns, collectors can sometimes determine if the coin circulated widely, perhaps passing through stores, banks, or even overseas. Coins in uncirculated condition might have been preserved by collectors immediately after minting, giving them a story of preservation and care. Every scratch, color variation, or tiny imperfection tells a part of that journey, making each coin a small narrative of its own. Today, the 1997 D Lincoln penny remains a favorite for both new and seasoned collectors. Its combination of accessibility, historical significance, and potential for hidden value makes it a coin worth watching. Whether you're hunting for an uncirculated gem, a rare error, or simply seeking to complete a Lincoln cent collection, this penny offers a chance to connect with a piece of American history in your own hands. So next time you sift through your loose change, Pause when you see that familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln. That ordinary penny might be more than it appears. Look closely at the details, check the mint mark, and consider the story it carries. A coin from 1997 might just surprise you with its hidden value, waiting quietly to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. In the end, the 1997 D. Lincoln penny reminds us that even the most common objects can hide extraordinary secrets. It challenges us to look closer, to appreciate the details, and to imagine the stories behind everyday objects. What if the next coin you pick up is more than just a penny? What if it's a rare piece of history waiting for you to recognize its worth? Keep looking, keep collecting, and never underestimate the hidden treasures in your hands.